We've come back to Horicon Marsh, where you can enjoy 4 seasons of outdoor recreation, from hiking, paddling, and birding to hunting and fishing. In just a few minutes, Elizabeth Cramer takes a wild whitewater ride on 2 rivers in Marinette County with Wildman Adventures. And then 12-time Wisconsin state turkey calling champion Jeff Fredrick gives us a spring calling lesson. But first, we'll join a group of Olympic luge hopefuls as they learn the basics of going downhill, feet first and fast, at an event called USA Luge Slider Search. I'm Dan Small, and it's time once again for Outdoor Wisconsin.
Summer to fall, winter to spring, from Green Bay to where the St. Croix sings, from Catamaran to Superior Shore. Outdoor Wisconsin, outdoor Wisconsin.
This is an otter pelt, and otters are year-round residents here at Horicon Marsh. In winter, they love to slide downhill on their bellies. You can see their slides if you know what to look for. And who knows, maybe otter slides were the inspiration for the winter sport of luge. In luge, of course, you slide on your back and feet first, but the idea is the same. Going fast downhill is a lot of fun. Last summer, we joined a group of young Olympic luge hopefuls in Appleton, where they learned how to control a sled on wheels at the USA Luge Slider Search.
Luge is the fastest sport on ice. We slide down an ice chute that's about 1 mile long and reach speeds up to 90 miles an hour. Ready? Shoulders back, all the way. Luge is an Olympic sport. It's been in the Olympics since 1964. I competed in the sport for 10 years. In 2014, I was lucky enough to compete in Sochi in the 2014 Olympics, and it was the best week of my life. I finished 24th, which I was fairly proud of because I was 19 at the time, and the second and third place guys were 40 and 41. Really, the only way to get more experience in luge is to travel around the world over and over and over again and compete in different World Cup events, which we do every year. This is the USA Luge Slider Search. We're looking for kids 9 to 13 to try the sport of luge because luge is an incredibly small sport. I know every single person in the country who does it, and usually both of their parents. So generating interest and getting more kids on the sled is the best way to build exposure for the sport, and it's how we recruit 80% of athletes in the country. This is one of our sleds. I'm sure you guys had a chance to look at them. They're pretty basic. There's not a lot of moving parts. That does not mean that they don't steer, and that does not mean that they will not move. Okay? Notice other things. Okay, there's only about 5 parts to them. These guys right here are called Kuffens. That's a German word that means runner. That's primarily what we're going to be using to steer, but we'll get to that in a second. Your seat here, which you are going to be laying on at all times when you are on the sled, and your handles, which your hands will stay on. Think about like a roller coaster, hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Except your feet will kind of be outside the ride, but yeah, it's okay. And then, yep, the bars extend all the way. The wheels, which you will keep your arms straight to avoid your elbows hitting. Okay? When we do size you to your sled, you are going to sit down right on that front bar, and then you are going to lay yourself all the way back, head back, shoulders back. Okay? Notice Jessa is very flat and long on the sled. If you want to make things easier, just reach forward and back with your whole body. Try to stretch yourself out as best you can along the whole sled. Elbows should be kind of turned down so that your shoulders stay back on the sled. Your shoulders need to stay in contact with that same bar that your hand is on, and if they do not, the sled will not know that you're steering. Lay back, head back, shoulders back. Very good. Look up at me, good. Straight ahead. That looks awesome. Great. Guys, wherever your hands make it to when your shoulders are down, back, and relaxed is fine. If you're on that bar, on that metal bar that you sat down on, that's totally fine. Just, yeah, we don't want you reaching forward, so that will bring your shoulders up and will make the sled less stable. What we're looking for is mostly interest, talent in the sport, and ability to drive the sled is very important. But interest is everything. We're looking for a big commitment from the kids, and luge kind of becomes your life pretty quickly. I think that's going to be a little big for you. We don't want it to be able to do that, because when you lay back, it's going to be under your chin, pulling on your head. That's too big too. It's the same size. Let's try that one. Grab it by the straps. That's the easiest way to get them on. That way you don't trap your ears. Better, right? A little bit tighter? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll help you with getting that on. Perfect. Hardworking kids. Yeah, I think a lot of the farm life stuff around here. I know it's not all farm life here in Appleton, but I think a lot of that translates very well, and the kids seem to pay a lot of attention to what we have to say. All right, legs out on either side. Lay yourself down. Head back, shoulders back. Nice and relaxed. Scoot forward as much as you can on the sled. Oh, it looks like you're kind of already there. Cool. Okay, elbows, shoulders. Okay, relax your shoulders. There we go, much better. Legs up high. You feel down here how it barely moves, and up there how it's real easy. Okay, keep them up high. Show me a steer left. Good, push that shoulder down. Show me a steer right. Good, no squeezing, because then it's not gonna go anywhere, right? Okay, one side at a time. You ready?
Sure.
All right. We seem to find a lot of talented athletes here in Appleton. We have Jessa Mueller over there who's on our junior candidate team, and she's from the area.
All right, same thing, okay? It's gonna be a little bumpy. Nice, all right? Have fun.
So I actually got involved during the slider search, and one random afternoon I just decided to do it, and we weren't doing anything, and just tried it, and I made it from there. I am on the C team, so there's the development team and then there's the junior C team, so I'm on that. I love the adrenaline and the speed. It's so much fun, and teaching the kids. I love coaching. I mean, I can teach them what I know, and then it can help me too to remember how to do it and stuff. So it's so much fun, and they're all nervous, but you know, they go down and they keep wanting to do it. It's kind of like a roller coaster.
It's a really unique sport, so you never know whether you're going to be good or bad at it until you get here. So my best advice is give it a shot, and we'll do everything we can to make you a good athlete.
Horicon Marsh is the headwaters of the Rock River, an easy-going stream that meanders for 300 miles from here to the Mississippi River at the Quad Cities of Illinois and Iowa. The Rock is popular among flatwater kayakers and canoeists, but for those who seek a whitewater experience, the Menominee and Peshtigo rivers in Marinette County offer the most challenging whitewater in the Midwest. Let's join Elizabeth Cramer for a whitewater raft trip with Wildman Adventures.
You guys ready to get on the water?
Maddie, tell me a little bit about what makes the Peshtigo River so exciting.
Yeah, the Peshtigo River is so much fun because it is a spring-fed river. So we run a lot of different sized boats down this river. If you come early April and May, you could be in a 16-foot raft with about 8 people in the boat with you. Or if you come this time of year and for the rest of the summer, you can be in a single individual inflatable boat by yourself. So every trip that you go down, it is a little bit different. We never have 2 Peshtigo trips that are exactly the same, and that goes for any day on the Peshtigo. It can be morning to afternoon. It's a lot of fun because it is the most continuous whitewater in the Midwest. So it's a lot of just continuous waves.
I think people underestimate how exciting this river is. This was an adventure.
Absolutely, yeah. People think it's like, because you're in a smaller boat, it has to be smaller rapids, and it's not as exciting, but it is just as exciting as our Menominee and some other rivers that you can raft around the country as well.
So the type of boat we use today is very unique. I'm not sure if it's a boat, a raft, a kayak. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, it's a single person individual inflatable raft. So it's a little bit of everything. It is technically a kayak. The real name for it is a thrill cat because the two sides are catamarans. So these thrill cats are custom made for this river. They're made out in West Virginia. About 30 years ago, we got them made, and they are custom made for the Peshtigo. So the two catamarans kind of keep your butt up off the rocks for when the water comes a little lower. You kind of glide right over those rocks a little bit easier than if you were to sit in a different raft where you are right on the surface of the water. So these thrill cats make this trip a lot easier when the water does come down, but it also makes it a lot more fun because it makes it stable enough, but you can really punch through a lot of different waves and rapids out there.
My paddle! Let's talk a little bit about safety.
Thank you so much.
Some of these rapids are pretty thrilling, just like the name of the raft.
Yeah.
So what do you guys take into consideration as you're guiding trips like this as far as safety?
We have all of our guides that are out on the river are ACA level 4 certified. We have an instructor right on property. Our river manager is a certified instructor. So he does a course for us. We all go through that. We do a lot of situational things. We learn river specific items as well. So we'll go out, we spend a lot of hours on the river. And then we have throw bags out on the river with us. We always have guides at the bottom of the rapids kind of running safety, so if someone were to fall out, we can kind of direct them into what to do.
Feet up, feet up, feet up!
We take safety as our #1 precaution, and then we go to fun after that. We definitely have to keep it in consideration for us. It is thrilling out there, but we want to keep it thrilling and safe for everybody as well.
And it was, and it was. And even when some people did fall out of their raft today, it was safety first, and then it was fun.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It was a beautiful day. The river was the perfect temperature, and you guys were right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we swim a lot of these rapids for fun. So a lot of people are like when they fall in, they're nervous about falling in. But when you do fall in, they're fun. It's kind of like a water slide. You go in and you kind of get right back out. We get you back into your boat and ready on your way down again.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been out here for about 5 years.
Throughout your time guiding on this river, have you seen a lot of different ages? You know, what kind of folks do you see out rafting this river?
This river, you can start at the age of 9 at Wildman. I took a 75-year-old out a couple weeks ago, so we can have everything from 9 all the way up. I think the highest that I've had, or the oldest that I've had on this river, I think is 82.
Good job. You're good. Keep paddling.
We don't need experience. We've had people that don't know how to swim, first time ever paddling out there, and then we have people that have been paddling for years. So any experience level, any kind of demographic would love the Peshtigo.
So a huge part of that is a testament to you guys. Your team was there the whole trip, and you just made it so fun and yet safe, where everyone just trusted you and trusted the river. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
It was so fun, and we will be back tomorrow
For the Menominee.
for the Menominee River.
Let's do it. Excited to have you.
Absolutely. I'm excited. So today we are on the Menominee River for another rafting trip, and we are going to be guided by Dan. Dan, can you tell me a little bit about the difference between the Peshtigo and the Menominee rivers?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Peshtigo is known as the longest continuous stretch of whitewater in the Midwest, and the Menominee has the biggest stretch of whitewater in the Midwest through Pierce Gorge, which is our Class 4 feature. So we'll go Class 2, Class 4, and Class 3 rapids while we're out there.
And I think another important question that people might have at home is, we are referencing rapids as Class 1, Class 3, Class 5. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the different classifications are really interesting. The water kind of speaks differently on every river. So a Class 2 to Class 3 river, like the Peshtigo is during the summertime, we're looking at big rolling waves. Class 3 is where you start introducing what we call holes in the river. So it's spots where the wave goes down, it comes back on itself, creating that whitewater look to it. And then Class 4 and Class 5 are typically among the largest classes that are run. Commercially, Class 6 is like you don't touch it, right? So really, really big stuff. So Class 4, Class 5, especially here in the Midwest, that's a really cool thing to have.
So is there anything else that we should look for today while we're out in the water?
The color of the water is really interesting out here, and just this area in general. The tannins from the plant life actually stain it to look like root beer. So as we're going through, I call it the root beer water. That's a beautiful thing that kind of differentiates our river from a lot of other spots. This is a 16-foot raft. They are big, heavy 8 to 9 person rafts plus a guide. A lot of people enjoy that guided portion of the trip because they feel really safe with the guide in the boat with them. It is a trip that is geared towards beginners as well as people who have done it before. So these big 8 to 9 person rafts will fit everybody comfortably. For the first half of the trip where we're floating along, they are kind of like our barge to have a good time. So we're swimming, we're playing games, and then through the big rapids, they're heavy and they punch through big waves well enough that they're kind of the perfect boat for Class 4 whitewater. When you paddle, you're gonna reach out like you're reaching way out and then paddle all the way through using your body. We start the trip with a big flat water portion, so we cover all of our safety information from the water, do some swimming, play some games. For the younger ones, that's like the highlight of their trip.
Both of you will have to continue to lean.
And then the second half is where the action is.
Let's go! Keep it up, keep it up!
And what are we going to be expecting today?
We'll be between Class 2 to Class 4 today. So our first feature through Bloody Knuckles, that's a Class 2. It's our warm-up for the Class 4.
Today is our day! We conquer Pierce Gorge together! Let's go!
We do run that Class 4 section twice, which is a really, really unique thing that I really love about this trip. Gives our guests the opportunity to see the rapids from the top after they've gone through it once. So you can kind of scout through. You can say, oh man, we went through that. That is amazing. So you kind of get the eagle's eye view. We go over a little bit of history of Pierce Gorge, which is kind of unique to this area, with some logging. And then you get to run it again. So I say typically the second run is even smoother than the first because you kind of know what you're going for.
All forward! Be slow! Dig it in! Let's go! Paddle!
So Dan, you talked about the gorge. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of this river?
Absolutely. So Pierce Gorge is named after the piers that used to run out across it. It was used for logging back in the logging era. And so Pier 3 was actually where Mishicot Falls is, which is one of our largest features through Pierce Gorge. So imagine a big wooden pier out there. There's guys with big wooden poles and they're forcing lumber, log jams down the river essentially. All those piers kind of stack up, adding a little bit of a historical significance to the trip. Being on the water, being around people who are always on vacation, it's always smiles. You get people at their best, and it's just an amazing experience to be part of somebody's vacation.
Awesome!
Do you feel like Wildman?
Yes, most fun I've had in a really long time.
You guys can rest. Great job.
We'll tell you how to learn more about whitewater rafting later in the show. Now let's look at a spring sport, turkey hunting. In spring, turkey hunters imitate the sounds of a hen turkey in hopes of calling a tom in close enough to shoot. You can use a box call like this to make hen turkey sounds like the yelp, a cluck, or some aggressive cutting. 12-time state turkey calling champion Jeff Fredrick makes all of these calls with his custom-made mouth calls, as he showed me last spring on a turkey hunt. I'm on a spring turkey hunt with 12-time state champion turkey caller Jeff Fredrick, and we're taking a break now, and I thought it'd be a good idea to have Jeff give us a few tips on using mouth calls. Now, Jeff, you were telling me earlier something about don't keep the call in your mouth. Huh?
Exactly. I run into a lot of people who, just like me, hang out all day with that turkey call in their mouth. I don't recommend people to keep the turkey call in their mouth for much more than an hour, because what happens is latex is kind of like a sponge and it will get oversaturated. The latex can get damaged at that point, and ultimately the call doesn't sound as good. I'm really fussy about the way my calls sound, so I'm always rotating my calls out in my case so that I'm calling with a little bit drier call. And then I take the one that's saturated and I put it back in the case so it dries out.
Well, let's hear some calls. Now, as a champion caller, you've practiced a lot and you're really good at it, but what are the mechanics for somebody who just wants to learn how to do this?
Good question, because many people that I talk to when I'm doing outdoor shows tell me, well, I've tried those and all it ever does is make me gag, and I've pretty much given up. The secret to running the mouth call is to have the call placed back in your mouth far enough to make it operate properly. So yes, you do have to overcome that gag reflex. Some people just are never able to do that. But what you need to do is kind of a little version of exposure therapy. So what I tell people who still want to try it and get used to having a mouth call in their mouth is that the first day you have that call, forget about making turkey calls, forget about all that stuff, but watch a television program or read a book or do something where your mind is engaged in something other than the call and just have it in your mouth like this. The next day, go back to that, spend about an hour and maybe have the call in just a little bit farther. Do that over a period of 3 to 5 days so that basically you're reprogramming your mind to say, oh, that thing in my mouth is not a big problem. Whereas if you just stick it in your mouth and you start to gag, your brain is saying, get that out of my mouth, I don't like it. So you got to go through a little bit of exposure therapy. Now, once you have that call where you can keep it in your mouth comfortably, the secret is that you want the call sitting, this part of the call, the tape part, sitting where your tongue hits the roof of your mouth when you say the letter K. The K part of your tongue, where the back of your tongue hits the roof of your mouth, that is what's holding this call in place. So if this is your tongue, the front of your tongue is down, the back of your tongue is up, that's what holds the call in place and meters the air past the reeds. Now, many people, when they start learning how to use a mouth call, is they're trying to manipulate the reeds with the end of their tongue. But if you do it off the K sound, you'll notice that the end of your tongue is down and out of the way. That's how mouth calls work properly.
Okay, well, let's see that again. So you're saying K.
A lot of it is based off of the K sound. The control of the air is coming from behind the reeds, not in front of it. So the back of my tongue is going It's hard to say that it's exactly like the K sound, but it's all based off of that tongue position.
And your tongue is actually keeping that call
in place
in your mouth, and you're lowering your jaw as you make the call.
So very little manipulation with the reeds with the end of your tongue, but more manipulation with the air with the back of your tongue, metering the air past the reeds.
Okay. Well, thanks for that tip, and now you know how a pro does it. I think we better get back in the blind and see if we can't get a bird. What do you say?
Absolutely.
All
It's
right.
that time of day.
It is. To learn more about this week's features, log on to MilwaukeePBS.org and search local programs for Outdoor Wisconsin, or visit the Milwaukee PBS Facebook page. Well, next time we'll join members of the Rock River Rescue Foundation as they assess improvements to the Rock River at Watertown, and Elizabeth Cramer attends UFO Days in Dundee. Saying goodbye from Horicon Marsh, I'm Dan Small. Join us again next week for Outdoor Wisconsin.
Flash of a white tail moving through the pine. Long vowl of the owl in the evening. Loon on the lake, a muskie on the line. Outdoor Wisconsin. Free yourself like an eagle in the air. Feed yourself like a bear in the blackberry, like a hawk. Perch and stare. Outdoor Wisconsin. When the working life is way too much, you're in too deep, way out of touch. Lace up your boots, get out of town. Walk in the wild or sit down and listen. Listen to the sounds of the critters of the night, to the wind and the leaves and the little river run. Coyote brother howling in the moonlight. Outdoor Wisconsin. Hike, fish, hunt, camp, sail, canoe. Ski, photograph, laugh, do what you want to. Stick your nose where the wild rose grows. Outdoor Wisconsin. Outdoor Wisconsin.